Now that being said, I'm not standing before you and telling you that every time you have a concern about something, we're here to write a check. And that can't happen. For a number of years before we arrived, students were after us to fix the underground. We knew it needed fixing. It was a big issue. We didn't have $1 million. So I could not respond to that as quickly as I could to the computers. We finally have the underground fixed, but it took us about 3 years or so to get to that, right, Dean White? So we're not promising we can fix everything on the spot, but for that request from those computers, that was a very legitimate one and one we can get to right away.
Alex, you come to the mic.
Okay. All right. I have 3 questions. The first one is, what is your schedule? Because I've never seen you around campus.
Jesus Christ.
Where did you take the money to pay for the computers, just out of curiosity? And what exactly is the grant money for the iPads restricted to?
Okay. So let's see, your first question was, what is my schedule?
Yeah.
Well, I live on campus. I'm in the dining room almost every day for lunch. I walk to campus almost every day. And my office is on the first floor in Alumni Hall. And why don't you come over sometime, pop your head in, and we'll chat. What is your name?
Alex Paxton.
Alex, and what year are you?
14. Freshman.
Okay, so I'm around a lot, so come over and visit me. Okay, your second question was the grant money for the iPads?
Yes. The grant money for the iPad.
Yes.
What exactly is that restricted to?
Okay, well, it came from a bequest, and it was a general area of instructional technology and that sort of thing, and it was restricted, and there's a little bit of leeway, there's a little bit of tugging and pulling in there, if you will, and we talk about that, the senior staff chats about that, how we're going to allocate that where. Now, I could not fix potholes with that. I could not buy a golf cart with it. I could not fix a roof on campus with that. I could not give it to a student scholarship with that. But we had a little bit of wiggle room in that general area. And as we looked at what we thought were the technology needs at the college, and it's really a modest one-time shot, we were aware of what we've already spent. It's really, actually, we've invested millions of dollars over the recent years in technology there. So all we knew is what we've already invested in and what else might be there. So that's how it said, well, maybe we can experiment with these iPads. That's how that came up. And it came from a bequest, a Hood alum bequest.
All right. My third question
Yes.
was, what exactly did you take money from? Because I was kind of curious about that.
That is it.
No, I mean for the computers.
Oh, you mean the ones we're going to do in the labs?
Well, yeah, I think they should be improved, but I'm kind of curious as to where the money came from.
We have, the different divisions of the college have contingency accounts for, quote, emergencies. There's not a lot there, but we have contingency accounts for unexpected projects that come up like this. So we pull from those contingency accounts.
All right.
What that means, however, is we have less in these contingency accounts, and then as the academic year goes on and other things come up, we'll have less and less to deal with. But we thought this was important enough that that's where it came from. Good question.
Also, there have been, in Myron Hall, there have been problems with the printer in the lab.
Printer in Myron.
Yeah.
Printer and
Okay.
everything.
All right.
So.
I'll have to note that.
Okay, thank you.
Very good question.
Will basically the implementation of the iPads beyond this experiment raise fees any or tuition for the upperclassmen?
No, that's a great question because this one really got me. A student told me that a faculty member told them that we are going to increase your tuition next year to pay for the iPads. Okay, now first of all, I just told you that this experiment is paid for, not out of operational money, but out of the gift. So number one, that's a very easy answer. If we go forward, this will already be paid for out of that gift. Now, in the issue of tuition increases, though, I have to be very honest with you. You're bright people. You know that we have a cost of living in this society in which we live, and it also applies to Hood College. I would be disingenuous if I stood up in front of you today and said there'll be no tuition increase next year. There probably will be some modest tuition increase next year, not because of iPads, but because hopefully there'll be increases in salaries for faculty and staff. We'll probably have to pay for increase in utilities, benefits, health care, all the things that any other private enterprise experiences. So we may very well have a modest tuition increase next year. We always work to keep it down low, but it will have if we do that, it will have absolutely nothing to do with this iPad project.
Outside of the experience year thing, I meant like if the school decides to implement iPads for all freshmen outside of this experiment,
Yes.
like 2 years or whatever,
Yes.
would that factor into a tuition increase?
I don't know the answer to that, but if we're talking 2 years out, and let's run some numbers here. If we're talking 2 years out, the price of the iPad is already coming down with every passing week. A year from now, on a quantity discount, we can get a bunch for almost $400 a piece. A year from now, they're probably going to come down to about $300 a piece. I suspect and this is a big if we asked everyone to purchase an iPad for $300 or so, I can't see why the institution could not absorb all or most of that. Another thing that we could do is what we've done with some laptops. I think we're still doing this with laptops. I believe someone could correct me. But some time ago, we purchased a large array of laptops, put them in the library in different places where students could sign them out. Is that going on right now? Can you borrow laptops?
No.
No? Maybe we did that with faculty. But another strategy is for us to purchase a good supply of netbooks, notebooks, laptops, or iPads, put them in the library or somewhere, and have you check them out the way you would check out a book. That could be another strategy. Now, there's one other item about the iPad, and I was told this by students. I didn't know this. I admit, my ignorance here. A couple of students told me the iPad was very attractive to them, if for no other reason. With every passing month, there are more and more e-books being published out there. And we all know the rising cost of textbooks. And I was told that the e-books are maybe 25-30% of what the hard copy textbook is. And a couple of students said, if nothing else, if they purchased an iPad for a couple $100 or so, within one semester they would get all that back if they purchased their books on e-books. Okay, and I checked with a couple of other schools, and students are doing that. Now, that being said, there's another issue here if you do that. Because we know, because some faculty told me, and you probably have some right now, some faculty do not permit students to bring any electronics or any technology into their classroom. So that could be a challenge in that regard. Okay? And these are all unknowns. That's why we have not rushed into anything. That's why we have not made a massive decision about anything. But we need to learn about it. We'll probably make some mistakes. We need to explore. We need to get a sense of how students like it, how faculty like it. So that's why it's an experiment.
How you doing? I wanted to know that, like you said, the school gets money or gifts for things such as like the turf field or the Coleman's Underground for the iPad. Why is it that, and maybe this is just my opinion, that it's harder for the school to get money as far as like residence hall upgrades or like say the vent is broke or something like that? Why is that? It's easier to get an iPad than to get the vent fixed.
That's a great question, spoken like a true faculty member. Because, and by the way, I am a faculty member also. As a faculty member, let's say I'm teaching biology or chemistry. I would like to have some donor give me money to upgrade my microscope, upgrade my classroom, improve the lighting, improve my office, give me a travel grant. And the question was, why do these kind of bigger, glitzy, fancy kinds of things get funded and other things don't? Because donors could relate to some of these things. Donors could relate to an athletic field or some new fancy piece of technology or the naming of a building or scholarships. Our single largest category of receiving gifts, if you will, are for student scholarships because donors could relate to that. They understand by helping students pay for their education, that's a great investment. But when it comes to our boiler plant, for example, as you've probably been reading and hearing, we're putting in a whole new heating system in this campus. It's been long overdue. Every building will have a new boiler. Now, do you know how much money this is about a $10 million project. Do you know how much money we raised from all of our friends and donors and alumni and so on to help us in this boiler plant? Not 5 cents. Not 5 cents, because donors don't want to give us money to buy boilers and pipes and bolts and nuts and turn. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. Fields and buildings and technology and financial aid are exciting, but these other things aren't. And also, they will tell us, if you have a leaky shower or restrooms that aren't working properly or carpeting that's worn out, those aren't the kinds of things that donors want to give to. They expect the institution to take care of that. And you know they're right. That's a great question, because we answer that to the faculty all the time. They see the names on buildings, they see donors funding these fancy items, and then they say, yes, but the chair in my office is broken and I can't even get my chair fixed. We're spending $1 million on a field and the chair in my office is broken. Well, the answer is the donor paid for the field and we should fix the chair in the office ourselves. Great question, thank you. I'm going to ask the provost to jump in anytime. She knows all this stuff too. We talk about it every day.
I just don't understand why exactly should we give it to the incoming freshmen when all it's going to do is basically provoke them to come to class with their iPads and be on Facebook and Twitter, and then you wonder why half of the freshman class end up dropping out by spring semester. Why not let the seniors test run it first, then